Johannes.
Oh, you're down there?
Yeah. That's what I was possible. I'm nearly back in Norwich, mate.
There's a seat up here, my friend.
No, you're all right now. Dan, you should be over there, mate. Give us, on a serious note, Johannes, give us your thoughts overall.
A strange game in many ways, I would say. Because, and also just to go directly to it, just the mood in the dressing room is also different compared to our game Tuesday night, where it was flat, it was frustrated, it was annoyed, it was all those negative feelings, especially based on the second half in that game. But it was a little bit different today because I think in many ways that the players, they feel they gave it a try and they actually did a lot of good things in the game. Created, I would say, actually even more chances than you can expect away from home. Also normally chances that we will score on. But it seems like we get really punished really, really hard for the small mistakes we do in the game, where the first goal is tells the story that we make a mistake, passing mistake on the final third of the pitch, but still it ends with, of course, is a brilliant finish, but it ends down in our box where we have to defend that situation where it's something we definitely have to avoid. So that's where we are. So strange in many ways.
Yeah, as you say, and that was encapsulated by the support as well, because final whistle there, you've gone over there and very clearly.
Top class, Paddy.
Yeah,
top class. I just have to say that, top class, and it was more than fair that after the game, it was Tuesday, right? Not Wednesday. Tuesday, against Wednesday. That's more than fair that they were annoyed with the performance, especially second half. More than fair, but you can never expect that fans will support your team when you lose, whether it's away from home or home, or at least support it in a way where they applaud the teams after the game, like they did today, and that's simply top class, because end of the day, I don't think we can blame the players too much on the performance out there today. I think they gave everything and they tried everything, and it's small margins that decide that we don't get anything away from the game tonight. So it's definitely not the players that they should blame.
And obviously 2-0 down at half time, it's easier with a younger group to maybe, decide, well, it's not going to be our night, but the fact that they showed that fight and that belief, that's something moving forward you can really build on.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a couple of stories based on this game tonight where we have to accept that we are probably where we're supposed to be, mid-table, and that's where we have to set the expectations for the moment. But the performances tells us that when we start to get it right, when we start to have a little bit more availability on some of our key players, when we start to really shape the team and the culture exactly how we want it to be, when the players that are still a little bit in between some old habits, they get it right with the new habits that we try to learn, then I think there's so many signs in our games that tells us that that's hopefully it's just about time, or it's a matter of time before we go there where we want to go. So that's also the reason why I say that the feelings in the dressing room is different today compared to the other day.
But as you say, you referenced the two goals, and it must be frustrated. You mapped out the first goal, that there's elements again that you would look at from your side and know that you could have done better to avoid those two situations. Yeah,
we have to kill the situation higher up the pitch, and I'm not a big fan of sitting here and say that we have to make a foul, but sometimes we have to make a foul, or at least we have to stay in the duel for a longer time. We lose 2-3 players in the middle of the pitch in that situation, and then we have to drop back and defend lower. And of course, the final situation, we need to lead him outside instead of inside. That's small defensive details in that situation that needs to be better. And then of course the second goal where we lose it, but it's still on the sideline we lose it, where we have 4 players surrounding one player, where that should, in hopefully most of the situations, leads to us winning the ball back, or at least again making a foul, or they get a throw in or something like that. Instead, we invite them inside, we invite them into the box, and of course he strikes the ball in between the legs of Shane, as I saw it to begin with, where it's a clever finish and it's a good finish, but we're really, really punished hard for those 2 situations where we get it wrong in the game. And on the other side, we don't manage to execute on some of the good chances that we also produced and created. So of course we were annoyed with that situation, and to be fair, was also probably a little bit all over the place for the last 20 minutes of first half, where we needed to do some changes. We need to find another way to fight our way back into the game again.
And following on from that theme, second half, I mean, you tried everything. Position, tactically, you set it up slightly differently with the 5, didn't you, or the 3 and the wing backs. And lots of personnel changes, so you really try to do everything you could to get back in.
Yeah, and fair play to the players again, because it was a good response. And just imagine if Ante had scored on that big chance in the start of second half, then I think the momentum could have changed completely in that game. But I'm pleased with just the mindset and the attitude of the players, because you see a group of players that they are trying, they're really doing their best. Do we get everything right? No, absolutely not. And we still allow a couple of counterattacks against us, but we also needed to open up more and more and more in the game, because the game, or the goal we scored, came a little too late. I would have hoped for that to be with 15 or 20 minutes to go, so we could give it a final push. But still, after that goal, we have chances. So I think we tried, but of course, yeah. A big part of the story is the 2 goals that we concede, because that of course make everything much more difficult.
Was it just a little bit too early again, sort of where you're managing the players like Nunes and Sargent, not to start Nacho tonight?
Yeah, it is, and as much as we want to play them, because of course I want to play our key players as much as possible from the start, but again, just this season, but also history tells us that we need really, really to be careful with those players, and we cannot be carried away by saying, okay, we really need a win in this game, or we really need a win in the next game again, because everyone knows that we do. But we cannot afford to lose them out for the final part of the season here. So we need to be careful in our team selections. That was also the reason behind it today.
And on that point, you're talking about wins. I mean, you all know 1 win in 8, but again tonight underlines that the underlying trends you can see are what give you the confidence moving forward for the rest of this season.
Yeah, there's especially for the rest of the season, because it's really important for us to finish off in a good way, and to make sure that a lot of fans and media and just people watching from the outside can see that something different is going on, that we're trying to have another approach compared to some of the previous seasons here. So that's really important. On one side, I'm optimistic again about how we could outplay Sheffield Wednesday in 45 minutes the other night. Like I've not seen many teams do that in the league so far. We go away to Bristol City tonight, a place where they get a lot of their wins here at home, and we create close to 3 expected goals and create, I don't know how many big chances in the game that we will normally score on. So I prefer to be in this position, where I can see that many of the things that we do are in a very good way. And then, of course, having to fix some of the moments that we need to do better, especially defensively in moments, than being in a situation where we don't create chances, we don't score goals, we cannot dominate games. That would be a completely different situation to be in. So I will stay optimistic, because I can see there's a lot of good things going on, but I'm also a realist, as you know, Paddy. That's it will probably take a little bit longer time, or more time than we expected just half a year ago.
Yeah, got more if I can, Johannes.
We have the whole night here, so just
say again, mate.
We have whole night or whole.
Do we?
Whole
I don't think you have.
you
You want to get home, don't you?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think we
If
leave.
you want, you can come to our hotel and have a beer if you want.
We leave.
You're welcome to come and have a nightcap with us, but we'll move on.
I think one, then I'm out, and I need to watch the game back again. So.
So I just want to get your thoughts on McConville, because I mean, you said he will get his opportunities, and he looked like a player who was really desperate to make the most of that time on the pitch.
Yeah, and that's another of the good stories where I think we have seen, and I think he's one of them. I think Jacob Wright is one of them. I think Oscar Svartov is one of them in this season. We're still talking about players that are 18, 19 years old, and a lot of the performance has been down to how they can contribute to the team. So I'm pleased for them, because they get really, really valuable experience in a difficult league. So that's also one of the stories that keeps me being optimistic about this team. That we can put those guys on, and they can still dominate the games, and they can still be a part of the team that create chances.
Just final one. Obviously now that's 2 weeks international period. How's it stacking up? Will the players have some time off, and then you'll sort of come back in again second week?
Yeah, but the fact is that a lot of the players are going with their national team. So obviously there will be no time off for them. They will play the games that they have to play. So. We see if we can find some time off also for them. So when they play their last game with the national team, can we give them a couple of days off on the backside of that to make sure that they come back in the group with new energy and fresh legs to give it a hard push here at the last part of the season, because that's exactly what we need. And then the players that will not join their national teams, they will They will stay in the building for some days and have some training sessions where we make sure that we keep them sharp and fit, and then they will obviously have some days off as well, because they need it, and especially just the attitude and the mentality that we start not the next week but the next week again with. It's so important for where we are as a club and as a team and as a group of players, because we simply needed to give a really, really hard push here towards the end.
Thanks, Johannes.
Of course.
Anybody else? All good? Thank you.
See you.